What's going on? What's happening? Welcome, family. This is your weekly Monday rendezvous. Yes, indeed. With yours truly, Boddhi Satva. This is Monday Quality Talks, number 24. Tonight, today, this afternoon, wherever you are located in the world, I have the honor of hosting the very inspiration. And as I say this, I'm even getting emotional because that's how much I hold this man high in my esteem and in the value that I can give to somebody that has graced me with his knowledge, his guidance, advice, and care. Somebody who is a legend in our music industry. He needs not much introduction, but just in case you might not be acquainted with who this man is, let me introduce to you Mr. Baba Osunlade. Oh my God, as I'm bringing him to the floor in a couple of seconds, let's just say this is about 4 decades of music of career in the music industry, and 4 decades of music indeed, for that matter. Grammy Award winner, many accolades, a trendsetter, and beyond all of that, one of the most humble and caring human being I have gotten to meet and being graced, again, to call an inspiration. My personal favorite of all. Anyway, let me stop with all the accolades and compliments. I don't want to make Papa feeling comfortable being on this show, but do welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one and only Papa Osunlade joining me for this beautiful conversation today. Papa, what do you do?
What's happening? How are you?
I'm here, Papa. We're here. Excited to have you. This is a conversation that needed to happen, and so.
Thanks for having me.
Wow! Oh man!
So finally, yeah. Man, I'm happy to see the show. Your YouTube is blowing up, and you're doing it.
Thank you, Papa. When you actually accepted this invitation, I was like, yes, I'm doing something right. Yeah, man. How you doing, yo? How you keeping up?
Awesome, man. This has been actually one of the better years. 2020 was one of the better years in my life. I got a chance to spend home with my mom. It's the longest I've been still ever in my life. That's been good. And I adopted a dog, and and also just the fact that I think that the pandemic made us all. It stopped our lives, our livelihood as far as the DJing and traveling and everything. So
100%.
I think we had to find a way. And so now, what we were saying earlier, we're now TV producers and we had to diversify and find ways. Well, how are we going to survive? Yeah. How are we going to keep our community and give them something and stay current and stay, with the thing, and I was telling you, I'm in the process of producing a documentary now about the effects of COVID and our community. And I think it's just interesting because everybody has a different story. There's so many people that I know that haven't written a song in a year, just haven't had the inspiration. I know other people, just went crazy. So it's been good for me. It's been really good just being at home and just digging in and learning more about me and having time with my mom has been really good. So it's
yes.
Music has been awesome as well. So that's been a blessing.
Now we see the Bandcamp is on fire.
Stuff is coming.
The new album for Raphael is on point though.
He
really brought back that feel of the original Yoruba record sound,
just beats and bass,
Yes, sir. Well, it's Raphael, right?
Yeah.
We have a couple of people joining us. We have Mustafa, yes, Franchak Combachi all the way from Facebook. We have Sister Kiara on YouTube, Distant Shadow 4 on YouTube, usual Buddhists joining me weekly for the Quarantine Grooves on Fridays, and also, of course, during the Monday Quality Talk. So welcome, everyone. Please make sure you share the live. And
Thanks for coming.
we appreciate you indeed. Papa, oh, come on. Now, let's get right into it. We don't need to go beat around the bush.
All right.
I want to seize this opportunity to give you, and I gave them in the beginning, give you your flowers and beyond your flowers, and just testify to the world and in front of you the love and respect I have for you, Papa, for believing in me.
It's been so mutual. It's like, the moment we connected, it was just instant. You
Yes,
played
sir.
me. I was like, yes, do this, change this, go there. And then, we got together. I met your mom and your father, and it was like,
Yes.
your father told me everything I needed to know about you. I was leaving Belgium,
Mhm.
and then the night before, he goes, okay, I'm going to see you on the train. I'm going to meet you on the train. I'm like, yeah, we just talk, people talk. And this dude met me, got on the train, got to my seat. Like, I'm making sure you get off okay, and that was like, I
Yes,
was like,
sir.
oh, man. Your mom. And so you became family instantly. And, just sharing the early times when we were in the hotel room sharing, like, oh, you need drum sounds. Here's some drum sounds. Here's some other stuff. And you just playing me stuff and go, oh, yeah. And just to see where you've developed, man, for me, it's like, a brother takes what he's learned and actually makes his own foundation in your own thing. And that's, for me, is like the biggest thing you could ever do for me. Is like, I'm watching you go, yeah, he's got it. He's got his demographic. You're doing the music you want to do. And I guess for me, that's the only thing I ever want for anybody that's involved with me or that I'm blessed to be involved with is, find your way and understand, the reason that you do music, and to understand that it's about it's the journey of your life. It's your diary. You're
Yes, sir.
put your vulnerabilities in there, all of this shit that you're dealing with, all the beautiful things, all those things, because those are the things that ultimately the people relate to. And just to see that transferred in you, and and
Yeah.
like anytime you need, man, anything you need, just fucking dial me up, and I'm there.
I know that for a fact. I know that for a
Or
fact.
whatever it is, it's your family, and that's
I know.
beyond the music, but
Sir.
because of the music, but beyond the music, and so
Exactly. And to that fact, I even want to emphasize on that by saying that, the first time we met was such a very important time for me. I remember I can actually tell the story because I think very few people know about this. Auntie, what's going on? Welcome. Gifted one today. Welcome. All the way on the YouTube channel to all the Bodhists throughout those platforms. Thank you very much. Please make sure before I even start telling the stories, you go and show some love to Papa Osunlade. I have included the necessary information in the description section for this video. So do show some love. Super chats, donations, the whole shebang. We, your artists, do need your support. So whatever you can give is always appreciated. Now, with that being said, I wanna start by telling you the story of how I had the almost incredible chance, because it almost didn't happen. There was this man that used to book Osunlade in Belgium back in the days by the name of Peter Boonen. And if he sees this, I send him a shout out. Peter was playing it hard.
I still speak with Peter. Peter's
You did?
yeah, he's involved with cryptocurrency and artists.
Okay.
Getting us paid via cryptocurrency for our performances. So
That's what's up.
I'm going to link you with him again, so you
please.
Yeah,
I would love to have him on the show too, for sure.
Exactly. I'm sure he'd love to get on.
Oh, dope.
I love Peter. Peter was amazing for Belgium and Holland. That was my guy.
Yeah, he did a lot of things for the culture, for the scene as well. But it was a hard guy to deal with, understandably so. Everybody wanted to get to Osunlade and try to understand how they can access him. And in this case, I was working at the time for interning for this radio called Radio Vibration, and this particular show called City Groove. Big shout out to my old friend Daniel Vega, who really taught me a lot about how to host a show, etc. And so he sent me out to interview Osunlade. So at the time, I had just started making some music, of course, a couple of years before that with Alton Miller, also, being a guide and a mentor to me as well. And so I reached out to Peter. and Peter Boonen. And so he's like, oh, let's see, I'm not sure, whatever. Osunlade is very busy, and I was like, oh man, I was just so shy. Anyway, it's like, okay, just, and then the day of the show, he's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, it's cool. He accepted to do the interview. Come and meet us in Antwerp, Stereo Sushi, legendary venue in Belgium.
Oh, beautiful view. Oh, I love that place.
Deserve, man. I don't even know if it's, it's probably still a restaurant, but they shut down the club.
No.
And so I get to the club in Antwerp, and so I'm waiting for Osunlade to arrive. And you've got to understand this. It's not like nowadays where the interaction is a little bit more like, people don't really value this thing as much. But you've got to understand, like, this is Osunlade. This man's music literally has influenced me to do the sound that I'm trying to do at that time, right? And so, actually, the moment you saw me, you knew it was me, and I was like, oh shit, he recognized. He doesn't know me, but he knows it's me. Obviously, little did I know that afterwards, we were gonna have this seriously strong connection. And so he took us upstairs, and I started interviewing. And I remember that as I was speaking to you, I don't know if you saw, but I was shaking. I was shaking like a leaf, and I was trying to articulate, my words. And you actually said that this interview was one of the interviews that you actually liked the most because the questions were actually very, I guess, genuine.
Yeah. Because most people just go to Google and they
you feel me. And it's like at the end, why I'm talking about this is because you did something at the end that changed my life, actually. And as I said, I don't want to get too emotional because it is indeed, this music thing would have never been what it has become for me had it not been for yours and Alton Miller's support in the very beginning. Yeah. Oh, in the meantime, let me say a big thank you to Papa Keisha for this beautiful donation. Thank you very much, sponsor Papa K. Yes, indeed, another legend supporting legends. We appreciate you, my brother, my king. So, you put your hands on my shoulder and you said, "You in pain?" And I looked at you and I was like, and I was indeed in pain. I had just come out of a heartbreak. And
I remember that. Yeah.
And you told me exactly the ritual that I needed to do in order for me to just cleanse that energy off and realign myself.
Yeah.
And at that time, I just looked at you and I just was shook. And you you said that you were gonna offer a part of your set to my intention.
Yeah.
Baba, this was the first night in my life I came on the dance floor. I started to dance from the beginning of your set all the way to the end. And I cried for the first time. I had never cried before. And that moment, I just knew the calling was absolutely certified right then and there. I went back home and I started to make this beautiful music, which I ended up sending to you, Bria's offering.
Yeah, I remember when you brought me Bria's offering. I was like, "Yep, that's it.
That's it."
Yeah.
I want to give a big thank you to Auntie, gifted one today for this other donation. Thank you, Auntie. You see, family, make sure you do the same. Please continue showing the love. We appreciate that a lot. So, with that being said, it's like right after that, as you said, it's history. You met my mom, you met my dad, and it was just instantly this strong and very, very beautiful connection, and your guidance and even your criticism. I mean, I remember I was telling that story a couple of months ago. I don't know if it was with Keisha or someone else. When I said to you this bit, I was super excited. I thought I was going to impress you or whatever it was, and then you're like, "Nah." Typical Osunlade fashion. You're like, heard that before from you, not impressed. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And these are sort of the sort of
things. You know what? Because that's what I do to myself. I sit at home, and when I'm working on music, I'm like, if I've heard it before, I know I can do better. I want to push myself. Yeah, and so I think that's really important. It's reinventing yourself and expressing that part of you, or finding that part of you that you didn't even know you were capable of.
100%.
And look at you now. It's like, fuck, you've created your own. So no one can do. Yeah, that's your sound, and that's the point. Like my sound is my sound, and that's the thing. You find your footing, and then you can go wherever you want to go. you know.
But it was something that you did that was very beautiful, is that you also welcomed the fact that to a certain point, I was copying, I was emulating what you were doing. Because
Mm.
obviously, when you admire somebody's sound, you're trying
Yeah,
to emulate
yeah,
them to find your own identity. But you've
yeah,
never made a comment about that. You actually welcomed it, which was, I think, something that actually you need to be really commended for, because a lot of people would feel insecure when somebody's trying to
yeah.
match their kind of musical energy. But
No, it's something that I found after the first year of me remixing so much stuff that it was like I heard my sound in a lot of people's stuff. So I was like, okay, this is great. This is great because this means that they're following. As long as
yeah,
they're following, it's fine. And so even for myself, again, I'm just, I'm always just trying to find out what else can I do, and so much music, and we hear so much music, we're influenced by so much music, and just to do the same thing is so boring. So yeah.
yeah, 100%. And I think you've showed that. I mean, and you're the go-to guy for everyone, like everyone in the music industry with a little bit of honesty. Um, Goes to either listen to Osunlade's sounds or speaks to Osunlade. But
I'm just
again, like,
I'm just honest, and I'm here, and I'm like, we're all here to share whatever we have in this lifetime on
sure,
this journey. We meet for a reason, and
yeah,
we're just here. It's like if you come to my house, you pick up a book. I'm like, okay, take it. It's
mhm,
the share. It's the share. It's like whatever knowledge I have, it should be shared. I'm just not here to keep it for myself. I think that's how we grow as a tribe. Is we share the
mhm,
knowledge,
mhm.
and yeah, and that's the thing. We share the knowledge.
And talking about knowledge, because a lot of, I mean, obviously, a lot of people know who you are, but a lot don't as well. And
Yeah,
I just want people to understand that. And again, that's not for you to say; it's for me to say. You're in the presence of indeed a royalty when it comes to this music industry, and not trying to blow you off in any way, but it's facts and matters. We talk about 4 decades of music, somebody who has gathered immense accolades, and you've managed to strip yourself from these kind of considerations and always maintain this humility and just
yeah,
this drive, as you say, of not criticizing, but always refreshing your envelope
yeah,
and maintaining Yoruba Records, your label,
yeah.
one of the one of the leading labels in the electronic music industry.
Yeah, I think we I think for other people to, I think we have our now at this point we have our core people that get it. There's a lot of people that don't really follow anymore that because they like the old stuff, and that's cool too.
Mhm.
I think what's important for me is to leave, these are my babies. I don't have kids. These are my children. This is the closest
Yeah.
the thing that comes out of me. This is when I'm gone, this is what's left. So I want to express every facet of sound that I can gather that interests me, and that I hear from others, to give others a vehicle that they want to do something else, or so yeah, I'm just stretching out, man. I mean, it's always been the thing for me. Like, when I started the label, it was an interesting thing. I started it with Tommy Musto, and I remember him saying, "Man, you can't be the only artist on the label." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, what happens if your shit doesn't work?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." So I started finding artists, and that became really more important. So, artists like you, and I was like, okay, well, this artist, this sound is going to carry the label to another thing,
Mhm,
not
mhm.
just me. And so it's also the impact of what Abria's offering is done, or a big thing is done, or anything that, it's like every little thing catapults it to the next thing for me. So I'm
Yeah.
always like, because that's something that I can't do. I can't make it the big thing. It's not in me, but I could hear it and love it and go, yes, that's definitely for the label. And yeah,
But,
and it's
but don't you think that, not to cut you, Papa, but like there was something always very amazing about Yoruba. You never really had to hire any PR companies.
no,
It's like Yoruba, he's such a staple in the game that whatever you drop, anyone who would, I mean, I don't know about now because everything is so like bastardized, but
yeah,
like I remember I got in the game right before it all went a little bit, I wouldn't say bad, but everything went free. And you were one of the first to say music is going to be free. I remember you said, Bodhi,
yeah,
this shit that we're doing
yeah,
is going to be free.
yeah,
And you were one of the few first guys to actually talk about that in our scene, and it's like, wow,
yeah.
nobody really saw that coming, and it's like, but you never had to pay for a PR company. Anyone would come on the label
I
would
always thought
benefit.
always thought I'm here to do good music. If the music is good, the people will buy it. If you know, and again, my theory when I left the major labels, I told myself, you make music for yourself. You make music for when you're not here, because the sad thing about humans is we don't appreciate ourselves when we're here. We'll get into Fela when he's dead. When we realize there's no more coming. So then we go in the vaults and go, okay, what did they leave? So I'm like, okay, when you go to my vaults, you'll be like, oh, damn, he did this kind of thing. He did this kind of thing. Yeah. So I tell people, I make music for when I'm dead, because that's when you're going to get it. Right now, I'm just getting it out of me. You worry about it later. It'll be there. And I think that for me has always been the point. Like, you just worry about the music. The rest will come. You know, I sign artists that are really overzealous, and they want, you know, they do videos. That's great. They do all this PR and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, your sales is still the same, because music, we don't make money from music. We make money from gigging, and the music is the promotion of the gigs. You know, and
but isn't that the old format though? Now, especially with this pandemic that kicked in.
The old format was you put a single out, you go out in the gig, you promote the single, then the album comes out, you promote the album. But in our time, because we're after Napster, we're after Napster and the free thing, and then what did it become? It became Apple Music, buying tracks, track source or whatever. And now it's streaming, where we don't get, what is it, less than a penny per stream. It's about the music. So when you focus on that, or at least for myself, then I've never, I've tried to at some points with even Pete from BBE, hey, let me look up with it. Give me a good PR guy, and I'll get involved, and you spend all this money, and you're like, that deemed me absolutely nothing more than the people that are already involved. And that's the good thing about independent music. Your tribe is your tribe. You can't, they're always going to be there. I mean, you're like, when you clicked on this thing, your tribe is going to be there, that thing. And so that's the focus for me, just staying honest and hoping that, eventually more people get involved with what I'm doing. And, at the end of the day, again, it's just about creating music that is honest and, makes you feel like, all right, I got that out of me. Now what else can I do? But I met that person, and now we did that thing. Then let me see whatever the next thing is.
But okay, you spoke about some very important things here, and I think it would be interesting to put some perspective on. You spoke about that at length. Maybe you might not want to go too deep into it, but at least explain maybe just to refresh a little bit the memories, some of the things that you have done that actually pushed you to decide to go towards the decision of launching your own independent company.
Yeah. So I was a young producer in Hollywood, and I think I was doing it probably about 4 or 5 years. And I produced some pretty big artists, Eric Benet,
Got Band, Massey Gray.
No, Massey Gray, no. Patti LaBelle, Freddie Jackson, Najee. Back in the day, it was all the New Jack Swing artists, so a lot of that stuff.
Music Soul Child, though, you did.
Music Soul Child, did some stuff for NDRE, Vivian Green. So that scene was, as a young kid in Hollywood, you're struggling, but you're also hustling. So your hustle is like, because it's on the rag, man. So when I got into business, my idea was, you try to get the biggest hit, become that dude, and get paid, and the business isn't nice. So I got slapped really hard at about 24, and then I took a spiritual sabbatical and became a Yoruba priest. And I think about 2 years later, I got an offer from Tommy, because he had a distribution company in New York called Northcott, where he
Okay.
distributed pretty much every New York label, Suburban, Fourth Floor, um, what else? Sulfuric. Uh,
Okay.
most
Yeah.
of those New York's, all the Kenny Dope stuff, pretty much every New York. So he just had this slew of records that he was pressing, and just for everybody else. And so I took, like you, I took a tape up there of some old house stuff I did. He was like, "Oh man, it's cool. You want to start a label?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so that was how the label started.
Was that the Soldiers era, or
No.
was?
This is the beginning. This was 99, December 99. So
Wow.
after a year of releasing on the label, between that year of releasing on the label, we were doing great. Like by the third single, we were selling like 10,000 copies a single of vinyl.
Okay.
That was pretty average back then.
That's massive.
At 10,000,
At how much a copy though?
a bad record was like 4,000 copies.
But how much a copy?
Oh, back then probably about $10. But it would probably cost about $2 to make back then, because it was so many presses and so many distribution. You know, back then vinyl was king. So
Yeah.
During that year, the label really kicked off, and so I got support from Body and Soul, Danny Crivet, Timmy Regisford, Joe Clausell. They start playing this stuff and putting them on the compilation. So that helped out a lot. But I started doing a lot of remixes. I think I did like 10 or 13 remixes in that first year after the label, because everybody started hitting me up to do remixes. And so I started seeing that the labels that I was doing remixes on were selling better than my own shit. I was like, okay, I'm saturating my stuff too much, and this distribution company isn't doing what they're supposed to do, because it's not the music, obviously. It's the horse.
Yeah.
So then I was out with Shiji in London. I was in a gig in London.
Salute.
Yeah, in 2001, and I had some records in my bag, and we went to. So he's like, I got to take you to this record shop. He took me to Soul Jazz. Soho, and Stuart, the owner, came down and was like, "Oh yeah, I love you records." He was like, "I'll buy everything you have." So he bought everything. And he was like, and I was like, "Yo, you ever?" Because Soul Jazz, they were always a compilation label, like most labels back then. So I was like, "I love this label. It would be great. Have you ever thought about doing a original album on your label?" And it's like, "No, we never thought about it." So anyway, we talked about it and we made a deal up, and then that's how the Soul Jazz thing happened. And yeah, from there, that's kind of how my DJ career started as well. I mean, I'd been DJing, growing up or whatever, in hip hop bands or whatever, but never like professionally the DJ or whatever. But yeah, that's how that all happened. And after that, it was like,
rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, then I took the label to Soul Jazz, and that was about 5 years. And then from there, defected, and still defected, which is basically Warner Brothers as far as distribution. So all the vinyl now I do myself, and so running the two labels, kind of good, but stressful at sometimes. But yeah,
At a certain point, I remember you said you were done making music. You said, this is enough of me out there,
No, this is a misconstrued. I said I was done making house music.
Yeah, sorry, not making house music. That's right. Yes. You had made it clear for me, indeed. But
yeah, I had spent about 2.5 years on pyrography and a lot of money flying back and forth to Australia to get the art and everything done. So it came out, and this was the time of the free music when everybody was downloading and all this shit. It came out, and like within a week, it was on 80,000 sites. And it just fucking pissed me off, and it hurt me. I was like, man, I spent all this time, all this investing in people that are just getting it for free. And I was like, and then I looked at the genres of music. R&B, that wasn't happening. It was only electronic music, because at that time, it was a lot of new DJs, bedroom DJs just coming up and all that. So everybody was just buying and getting everybody's stuff for free. And it was just, even you had friends, you give a friend some stuff, and then you find your shit in somebody else's set, and you're like, I know I didn't give that to that person, So that whole era just pissed me off about house music, because it was such a hoarding thing of where people had to have that song. They had to be the first one to play it. And that was just the DJ's thing. You didn't get that in any other genre of music. Hip hop wasn't like that. Pop was, nobody was, so
yeah.
So that was what that was about. But and then it's also,
I'm not supposed to send it to you, but play it low key, right? Don't play it like
exactly. No, man, no. I'm just gonna not send it to you and just wait for the album to come out. But But yeah, in the end, at the end, you say you're not going to do something, but the universe knows better. Whenever whatever feels you have, it comes when it comes. But yeah, I think that was definitely. And then I think now also since that time, I was talking to Simon from Defective. We always go through these talks where we speak about the industry and how it changes and how we have to fucking stay on top of the new change. Like, I remember it was CDs before. After vinyl, it was CDs. Then it went to the free shit, the Napster shit, and the LimeWire and all that, and then to Apple. And then we were like, man, every time we're like, how are we gonna make money? Now is the best time I can say of running the label. It's 21 years now, and I think it's because it's better avenues. It's more honest people doing it, because now the people that are pressing records, distributors are still kind of wham, but we won't talk about that. But distributors pressing plants are they're as far as that, and at least we're making a living. We're not making people may think because they see us or they hear us that we have this lavish life or that we may. It's like, no, man, we're hand to pocket to build to just like you. We just have the benefit. We just have the benefit of having great situations to explore because of the music, and we have opportunities, and that's the beauty of being able to meet people and to share what we do. But it's a hard fucking life. It's a hard life, man.
No, it is. But I mean, one thing that one can definitely say is that the body of work that you've give life to and that you've accumulated, that you 100% own, is something that is yours and allows you, I guess, to keep your head above the water, or at least leave without having to maybe worry. Like some of the new kids that are just coming in the game now, and they're trying. They left everything just to make this music, which is where I always tell people, it's like, y'all gotta understand, if you don't work on your craft, you are not going to be able to really reap the benefit of the efforts that you've put into your work. And so one thing that one can definitely and must definitely agree on is that the consistency of your work has actually, speaks volume. And talking just about that, one thing that you did that blew the mind of the whole game. Now, for those of us watching who are not necessarily into this conversations, just stay open. This is what it is about. We're going to talk about so many different things tonight. But like, I want you to tell us about Afefe Iku. Because when Afefe Iku appeared, look, it's just one of those things. It's like it's a stellar manifestation.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. So that's always I can't say it's more than a moniker. It's actually a spirit of me that appears, and music is different. It's harder, it's more aggressive. It's it just happens that way, and it's it's very open and cinematic. It's a different thing, and it's always very fast. It always comes like, I'll do an album in 3 days of Afefe. It just comes, just the sound of it, or it's things that I'll make, and I'm like, yeah, that's an Afefe Kuta, because it's just a moment, and it's a darker part of me, I guess. You can say
it's so contagious. It's dark, not in a bad way, because I think
not in a bad way. It's just it's really like, okay, it's underneath the heart. It's like, okay. It's more of it's a force. It's like a heavy wind, So
it is.
It's the best way I can describe it.
Who can?
I never think of it.
The whole shebang. Come on, bro.
Yeah. It just comes up. So.
Man, and I guess anyone who has experienced you even DJing live, it's always, even when you're not necessarily feeling that anyone who like me is really a big like follower of your sound and follower of your work. I'll know when you're not 100% in your energy, and but you always just manage to deliver with spirit and intention. It's just something else. It's like, and that is very. That was always.
I think it's because of the music. There's always so much great music that I'm like, because for me, I'm like, all right, I want to be an alchemist here. I want to mix I want to mix things that shouldn't go together and make them work and create different rhythms with those. So I think that's always like the mindset for me, as well as, I want to get these people to shake their ass. But yeah, I think it's more about I think it's more about yeah, this tune shouldn't, this rhythm on this tune doesn't shouldn't go there, but let's see what happens. So yeah, I love it though. I love DJing. I mean, I haven't. It's been interesting doing the Twitch thing because you've been doing it. You managed to get, you still have the community, you still have the communication, and you still have the energy. It's definitely different, but it's still there. I did a gig last September, an actual gig, and it was
Yeah.
so good just to have that energy of the people, in front of you and dancing. So I can't wait to get more of those going.
And talking about that, like, I before we get into the whole like getting back into DJing, I want to actually ask you some questions on how, and because it's important, because people, somebody just said something here, NPK last said, so you can say music production comes with spirituality, obviously so, but even more so when we're talking about
Yeah.
someone like Osunlade, who you've made spirituality, in my personal opinion, from what I could observe, right, a normalized thing, not a thing that to be scared of.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
actually made it something to be proud of. Like, so Yoruba, the Ifa. Tell us a little bit of how that came about for you, and how is it manifested in your life, and being a Yoruba priest as well, and the connection of this religion with music and sounds and drums and like.
For me, I mean, it happened for me kind of like, I guess, a bit forced in a sense. At some point, I was living in Harlem, and uh, within a short period of time, I met a lot of Yoruba priests. Let's just say that, and it
Mhm.
was like, everywhere I turned, I was walking down the street, and a lady would stop me and go, "Hey, I need to teach you this." Like it was like a present. And I met a
Massive.
yeah, I met a guy who was like actual priest. His entire family was his mother and father, and they were doing ceremonies. So my first introduction was in Jersey with a family, and then yeah, and then the Risha said I had to be ordained, and yeah, I went through the whole thing. And basically, Yoruba is basically, the understanding of God as most people think of it, as some guy or some energy that's in the sky judging us. For people of nature, everything is nature. God is nature.
Hmm.
That is the thing that sustains our life: the air, the water, the wind, the fire, all the things, the elements of our life. So it's basically not a religion, it's a culture of harmonizing yourself with nature and understanding that, what herbs to eat, or what ones are going to heal you, what when you need something removed from your life, you can go make an offering at the ocean, give Yemaya the thing, just learning what different things that have been passed down. It's the interesting thing about Black Americans, because it's the only thing that arrived in this country
Hmm.
untouched, like, because it was oral. It changed a bit in the Caribbean, but it was the one thing that stayed intact. So yeah, it's a nature. I guess if you say a religion, it's a nature religion. Rocks have energy. Uh,
Hmm.
trees. So it's more about learning with nature, and finding yourself in nature, and paying reverence to the things that actually sustain your life, as opposed to some fictitious thing. And basically, we pray to the orishas, which are just, um, I guess, humanized forms of nature. As
Okay.
Oshun is the river, Yemaya is the ocean, Jango is thunder and lightning, Oya is the wind. So those kind of things. So when we're praying to Oshun, she's like the goddess of love. So we want a baby. There's a ceremony you can go and do with Oshun to help. To
Yeah.
pray to the. You go to the river, and you pour some honey. There's a whole lot of things. So it's just those things of, again, finding the harmony with nature. So how it came to my life, it was after the major label situation, that when I decided to stop, and I guess
Mm.
right on time. So yeah, I went through that because it's a year of, you have to wear white for a year. You can't be touched by anything, by anybody. Yeah, so it's kind of like COVID, where you're sitting with yourself, but you can't move around. You just kind of, but yeah, it's kind of like that. You're with yourself, and it's to get you to unlearn everything in the world that you've known. So as opposed of yourself, now you're represented by this Orisha that has now been crowned on your head. So it's not just you. So you're now in a position to relearn the world. You have a fresh look at the world with the protection on your back of your ancestors and all this and all the now, and you spend that year learning everything about nature, all the healing herbs, all the herbs that you should grow, all the ones if you're I don't think I can go out in the bush now and go, okay, that's that. We can eat that one, or that one's gonna heal us if we get this. So
It's bringing you back to essence.
yeah, it's just bringing you back to the essence because in reality, we don't know about anything else but on this earth. That's our God. This earth is our God. The things that sustain us is God. So that's as simple as I can put it. And how it's changed my life. I mean, it's interesting because I don't even remember the person I was before. I mean, I have an idea of who he was, but I don't have any recollection of what I was before this. So it's definitely giving me a sense of calm that I'm sure I probably didn't have before. There's very little that can bother me in my life. I can get pissed about something for a second, but it's not much in this world that gets under my skin, except for stupidity.
That's something that I've noticed with you. You have this very composed aspect of yourself that allows you to just let it just slide on your skin. Like, it's just,
Nothing is so important or so damning in life that, if you wake up, you're good. You've succeeded. Mm-hmm. Anything else that comes after that, you don't worry about it. You're there to deal with it. And when you die, you're not going to know it. So you can't worry about that. Mm-hmm. So all the things between, the present is a present. That's the gift right now. So, I think that's a focus for me. Like, I don't care about tomorrow. It's yesterday. Those are things I can't control. There may be consequences from yesterday, which I will deal with when the time comes. But I am about what do I have to do right now? What is my purpose now? And that's as deep as it gets for me, or it's as simple. I think simplicity is a better word because I think we complicate life so much, and it's like, no, it's not that deep. You just chill, except that you're gonna fuck up. But if your intent is to do your best, like honestly, if you wake up and go, I'm fucking gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. You have nothing to worry about.
But then taking that perspective and now fast forwarding to COVID-19, this global pandemic affects the whole industry. I mean, all industries possible and imaginable have been impacted. Creatives, airline industry, whatever you can, how do you see, and now talking about artists and specifically DJs, for example, this whole, in my opinion, let's just put it this way better, in my opinion, the format of DJing as we've known it is dead.
Oh, absolutely. It will be forever before the clubs and the festivals return. This is the new format. Actually, just got my first proper paid gig from a festival, DJ Mag, last week. Like, whoa. Wow. It's been a year since I got an actual fee for like a pop. This is what it's coming to. This is what it is. And I've been telling people for the longest, get involved because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And we may have some intimate things. I mean, I'm actually, it's funny because I've actually had some gig offers here in the States because everything's kind of opened up here, and I've turned them all down.
Why?
Because I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable doing what I love in my house.
Yeah, you've kind of created a new set of habits, right?
Yeah, and I have a new community that, like, literally when I click on, they're already there.
That's amazing.
And and it's also, it's more of a 9 to 5. I think it's pushed me to do, again, I'm diversifying. I have a huge space here. I have 3 different setups to do different things. Again, like we were talking earlier, we're now TV producers and trying to make that more interesting for the viewers and to do more things. And I think it's also a little bit more intimate as well because it is inviting them into your space. You know,
Pretty
so
much,
I
yeah.
think that's a difference of what we don't have in the club. In the club, you can see me for 2 hours. You may get a chance to see me or whatever, but here you can see me in whatever element I'm in, and it's the actual honest thing. There's going to be some, and the thing about this is that anything that could go wrong absolutely does, because you're the artist, you're the engineer, you're the technician, you're the sound guy, you're the video guy, you're everything. So,
and don't you think, in a way, because we're not all right? So this is a little bit of a long. It's not a question. It's more, well, it's conversation here. But I mean, all right. So having had to completely start from zero for most of us, because I mean, we used to make. I mean, I look at myself, and I'm pretty sure you too. But
yeah,
it's Papa that day, so it's not the same reality. But still is, it's like we all made money from gigs, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 90% of your income is gone.
Yeah.
And the 10% left is the label, or it's whatever it is that you probably had going on.
Yeah.
And now you have to put all these hats on, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to panic. How am I going to sort this out?
Yeah.
How am I going to figure things out? And you have a little bit of money to help you sustain the first couple of months of, because you're like, it's going to probably come back. But then you're like, no, it's not coming back. And it's funny because the more you speak to people, everybody's like, nobody's coming back, man. Everybody's going to want to party.
Oh, man. I set my mind in the beginning that this was already a setup, man. I don't believe in. I'm not saying that COVID is not there. I've had family members that have caught it. They've all survived. I've got friends that have had it as well. But I think that you had it. So I think that this is definitely something that's devised, and with all the shit that they're spraying in the air and that's in the food, and you don't have it that much over there, but man, this is so blatant in your face about control and power and about making humanity slaves. This is my view. This is clearly what it's about. This is the next step of 9/11 bullshit. This is just another step to take our freedoms away. And a part of the DJing thing and all that for me is like no party and nothing is more is important as my health. You're not going to take my freedoms, and you're not going to take my health. I'm not giving you those things. And so that's kind of where I stand. If I never have to have a party again or play a party, so be it. I've seen the world many times over. I may miss seeing my friends, but at this stage, it's just such a shit show to even think about what tomorrow's going to be, because it's just everything is just so fucked up in every place. Nobody knows anything. So the only thing that you can do is, hone in on your craft, learn whatever learn something better about that. Get on Twitch or get on YouTube or Facebook or whatever the fuck your thing is, and start building your community so that they know that you're there. Because I think this is where we're at, man. This is exactly where we're at.
I agree, and to echo your point, even musically, the type of stuff that I can play every Fridays here on my show. I can literally, if I want to play hip hop, I'll play hip hop. If I want to play funk, I choose whatever I wish to play, which is like something that you can't afford to do in a club because everybody wants to hear that.
Also,
that bangs or that, and it's like, oh, they want to hear the Yoruba solo orchestra, and it's like, but I'm DJing now. I can't play your, so.
And the great thing is you're not hired. You're just doing you. You're
your own promoter at this point.
Yeah. No one promoter is saying, "Hey, can you play that one song?" Or somebody in the front, want you to play Madonna or George Michael.
But so you made a point that I think is important for us to speak on, because you've been extremely vocal, and actually you've started your Instagram Osunlade Instagram account.
Yeah. They threatened me. I had to call them out on the threat. They threatened me to disable my account because I put up some posts, and I'm like, look, this is part of the problem. You can't censor people. You know what I mean? This is a social thing. If this is about the people's voice, you can't censor me. What's the point? And I know it's bots and art and AI and all that, but again, I think anything that's geared towards taking more of our freedoms is wrong. And I think that I'm not going to play in that game. I don't need Instagram. It's not bringing me any money. I'm making them money every time I click on there. It's not the other way around. So what benefits am I having? And you're going to threaten me? I don't need this. You know, and I think that that would be the best thing in this world if everyone got off of every social media thing. Stop these companies.
But how is that? How is that even possible? Because
it's not technically, possible, but I mean, yeah, it's not possible. That's the thing. But I mean, just imagine if that happened.
Well, we couldn't see a pandemic hitting us, and yet it did. And
that would just be, you know, everyone stopped buying from Amazon just for a day, even if for a day. You know, things like that. That's where the power lies. You stop their money and you show them that you're not staying in this society. I mean, there's enough resources in this world where there should be no one poor, no one homeless, no one without. Why is there such a divide? 1% of this world runs this world. 150 people or whatever the fuck it is. It's just insane to me. Like, what kind of place is this?
But you know that what you just said, not to cut you, but like I had this conversation with an elderly folk, and he was like, who's very educated, you know, he reads a lot of books, and you know, but we all have different kind of educations, of course. Yeah. If you know, if you put some of these folks' perspective, it's like, yo, how is that even possible that 150 people could be running the world when it's like, you know, that like there's people who really believe that, you know, the government is actually good for you, and that there is no way the government can hurt you, and there's no way that the system socially is designed to destroy. It's
I say to those people, go look at some real history. There's no.
But where do you access that real history? Where do you get this knowledge from, though?
There's you can go to, for at least in America, you can go to the FBI site, the CDC, all the stuff that's been disclassified that they classify and then they declassify it. It's all there. All the things about, at least for America, there's so many documentaries. There's, you know, but on the CDC alone and the FBI site alone, you literally go to any year and look up declassified stuff. And it marks out everything, that the war is on Cuba, the reason that people can't go to Cuba, everything is right there. There's never been, for me, exactly, for COVID is, for one thing, it's like in America, the healthcare is the worst in the world. Do you honestly think these people are here to help you, to cure you? Nobody's talking about, hey, why don't you just eat better and we will support you in a better diet and get you more fruit instead of feeding you this shit, you know? Or just like what happened to the
But is it the system feeding people, or is it people feeding themselves and the system is just, you know, using
both? It's both, because the people, at least I'm only speaking for Americans because this is where I'm from. The people are conditioned. This is the thing. It's just like the people watching whatever's on the news. You know, if you don't read a book, or if you don't go out and find out the real history of who, you know, who built this country or who did that or whatever the hell, you're always going to have these ideas of his story. History is just his story. It's not the story, you know. And again, a lot of the information is online. You can Google a lot of the stuff. You know, if you want to know about aliens, they fucking exist. You want to get to real stuff, you go to the government site. Again, for me, you go to the government site because it's all there.
But then somebody would say, "Who's the devil's lawyer?" Would say, "But yeah, but you know, I gotta play it. Even now with you, but but it's like, okay, but yet you said the government, all this information is there, but then at the same time, we're saying the government is lying and it's hiding."
Yeah, of course. Why would the government put that out? Yeah, why would they say that? Yeah, what was the point?
My take would be, well, my answer would be, well, because it is actually better to put the truth out and then put maybe a counter truth. I mean,
listen, man.
Maybe it's very dystopian, but I mean, yeah, you know, it's
we pay these people astronomical fees to look after us and make decisions in our benefit. I've never seen that happen. That's just my view, my common sense. I've never seen that happen in any country where the people have what's rightfully theirs and are taken care of versus what the government officials live on and how they live and what they do. And it's like you literally have these people. For me, like for states, I've never understood a president, or in other countries, why would you have one person make decisions for a nation? Why isn't there? Has anybody thought of the three people? So if two disagree, that's the tiebreaker. I mean, there's so many different things that could happen in this world that just make logical common sense to me, that are options, better options for our survival. I think that the problem now is that there's too many people on this planet, and there is a plan to depopulate this place, and that's what they're doing now, in my opinion. And it's working to some degree. And I mean, there's going to be people that the funny thing for me is people that call others conspiracy theorists. It's always a conspiracy until it comes true. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much things, again, so many conspiracy theories you can think of that they just happen to come true. They're just happening. So for the devil's advocate, I mean, listen, I'm here to just enlighten people on what I believe from what I see. And I think I don't see the world. I don't even like my view of living in this world is not very realistic. Like I have my own imagination world in this world to survive in this world, because this is just some crazy shit for me. So looking at it, I just think that you can't save everybody. You can't. Not everybody's going to get what you're saying, what you're pushing. Everybody has their own views. My thing is, I just want to give people the pause to say, have you thought about this? Have you researched this? Have you really in yourself thought about what's good for yourself? You are here. You are God. You are made to heal yourself. When you cut yourself, what happens? It closes. Everything that's in you is here to protect you and to heal you from all this other stuff. I don't understand how, if there's a virus, you put people inside, take them away from the sun, the fresh air, you put masks on them, you take them away from the ocean, vitamin D, and all this other stuff that could actually heal you naturally. You take them all away from that, and that's supposed to be good for them, and that's saving them. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. It doesn't make logical sense to me. Mm-hmm. So for the devil's advocate, let me be wrong, but I'm not an ape. I have a mind. And it questions everything that does not make sense to me. It just questions everything. And that for me is just like, this world is just so crazy, man. Again, I just think that it's just unfortunate to have so much beauty in such an ugly place.
There's Bree here that says that she's listening in the background and she's 100% with you. I always thought that the way we live is not right, and unfortunately, I haven't got the answer. But this is therefore not right.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So now this is the thing, right? So this leads me to the birth, or I would say the domination of all these little groups of cancel culture. Now everything's a hashtag. Cancel culture, victim shaming. Everything has like a massive hashtag, and it's like
everything is so offensive. Everyone's so offended by every fucking thing. I'm like, when do we start celebrating people's deaths? Like, what the fuck is happening in this world, man? It's just a weird fucking thing. I don't know what's happening here. All I know is that I'm making music while all this shit is happening. But yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird one. I think at some point we're basically becoming a parody of ourselves. We're becoming that virtual world. You know what I mean? Like truthfulness is just, things that are logical is just fucking just crazy. You're weird. You're crazy. You're out of your mind.
Just as Kiara just said, logic is becoming a lost human heart.
It's just weird, man. And I'm like, when did this happen? When did this parallel universe happen? Like I didn't sign up for this, but I'll go with it. But yeah, I just think a lot of things, like everybody needs something to grasp onto. It's like everybody has to have this validating point, that they exist. And it's like,
And if they're not validated, then automatically you're an enemy to whatever
yeah,
it is
yeah,
that
yeah.
they're
It's
vouching for.
like,
And it's
yeah,
like,
you're a hater. You hate my, and it's like, no, man. It's again, I think life is simple. Shit is not so deep. You don't have to make everything about you. You don't have to make everything a fucking thing, except where you stand and what you do and who you are and what you're here to do. And I think that that's the thing that's missing now. People are spending so much time on a fucking box. They're losing themselves because they're seeing all these images and all these things that's been fed to them and the thing that's been marketed to them. And that's who they're becoming. And then that's their outer view of who they think they want to present to everybody. They don't know who the fuck they are anymore.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the problem. That's the one thing that I really must say about Instagram. I hate about Instagram is that everyone's such a fucking poser. Everything is so great. What am I doing? And I'm here. And I get it, but just be great in real life, and then everybody will be cool.
Because that's indeed the case. It's like the moment this person is done posting whatever they're posting, they're miserable after that.
Yeah, they love, made the camera light, right?
Now there's another thing that I'm seeing. There's a lot of people. I mean, some of the people do genuinely do the work, and I'm not trying to throw stones at anyone, but I see a lot of people who are like,
I'm not taking away anything from anybody either.
No, I know you're not, but and you see, even the fact that we have to say that is crazy because it's like, because people can just feel offended by just saying that.
Yeah. Well,
it's like I had a conversation with somebody where I was like, because I was trying to understand how the BLM was connected with the LGBTQIA plus. And I just asked that question, and automatically I was homophobic, and I was dismissive of the black men and women experience in America and in the world, and I was like, hold the fuck down.
Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with Black Lives. That's the white corporate LGBTQ co-founders. That's what that's about. That was some distraction shit, but let's not get into that. Don't get me started on that shit. But
well, I mean, why not? We might as well get some insights because this is very confusing times, Papa. I mean, for reals.
That's some George Soros and some a few white. They just, I don't know if you've been seeing the news, but here they just arrested, not arrested, but they have her under. They're looking after her. The founder of Black Lives Matter, who's her and her wife. They took the fucking, I don't know how many millions and bought like 5 houses and cars and all this shit. So now they're investigating this money that went to Black Lives Matter.
Keisha was actually doing a live about that, where he said like, well, the founder, she had like this $1 million house, and
she bought like 4 or 5 or some shit like that. Like just got
So we have MK Ultra coming through the TV screens.
Kenyatta knows. Yeah, MK Ultra and the pop artists. They're all under, or if they're not cloned.
Bless Lala Bug. Bless. Thank you so much for the donation, sister. Bless.
If the artists are not cloned, then they're definitely under Ultra. You see them glitch every once in a while. It's funny.
She said, Kiara said, BLM and Antifa are financed by the same corporate entity.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing.
But then you see people tattooing BLM and for example in France now there's this if you're black and there's this new thing where it's like oh my god it's all about like if you're really black you really got to be about this and oh by the way mixed people we're not for mixed people, we're not for mixed that, because if you're trying to mix your blood with another person, you actually are weak or you're brainwashed. And it's like, look, I'm a fruit of a blood mix, technically. Like, how the fuck is that supposed to work? Yeah. So me feeling African and identifying as black, I can't. No, you actually can't because you're white.
You feel black, something's wrong with you, man. Something is fucking wrong.
You're wrong, bro. You white as what can be. It's like, all right, I guess. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I really think that this is the disease. This actually is the cancer of our society right now. It's like everybody has been empowered by
like a week or a month. It's unplug everything, which they will do at some point, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they start unplugging the whole fucking internet to fuck people up, man.
Yeah. Once crypto gets too high, definitely gonna do it. The government's not liking what's happening with that. So
Yeah, crypto is giving people too much power.
oh
This.
yeah.
So about the cryptosphere, like, what are you investing in it? Like, what's your favorite crypto?
I am in it, but not in it. So I invested in 2012, and when it
Okay.
hit that big peak, like 4 or 5 years ago, I lost. Couldn't find it. So I was probably at a 1.4 million. Yeah, I couldn't find
Oh
it.
my
So
God.
I invested again and again, and I got a little bit. I don't have a lot, so I'm not rolling, and But
Not yet, not yet. But what are you investing?
no, I haven't even.
Bitcoin, XRP,
No,
Ethereum. What is it?
I haven't invested anymore. I'm just kind of like what I have. That's kind of what I'm surviving on, and that's, it's just enough to keep me surviving. I don't really, I live a life. I have everything I want. I don't need for anything. So yeah, I'm good with what I have. I don't really, I'm not trying to have dinner and flight with Obama or anything like that. I'm good. So and also I like the fact of not having. I've lived my life struggling as a musician all my life. So when I have money, it's a weird thing. And I think without having money, you don't have the challenge to make money. You don't have that fire to go. You got to eat, and you have to fucking have a roof over your head. So something about that makes me hustle a little harder. So I'm really frivolous with money. I'm not frugal at all. I take care of things what happen, and then I make moments. So, but yeah.
So would you call yourself somebody? Are you? So you live in the moment, but you're not living
with everything. I don't. Man, I may not wake up tomorrow. Why am I caring about it?
Yo, but that's but Papa, that's also mindset. That's not easy though.
No, it's so easy. That's the thing. It's so easy. Why would you care about something you can't control? If I wake up,
but I mean, you still got to pay bills. Like, how the fuck are you paying bills? Like, seriously.
Look, everything you have in this world is already designed. You made your book and what you did when your spirit decided to come here at this fucking place, the hardest place in all the spectrums to test. You knew everything before you got here. Your thing was you didn't know that you were going to forget it all. But you came down here for a reason. You came down here and you knew that you were going to do everything possible in your power to make the best of this situation and to learn and to take whatever you learned here back to whatever we go to. That's what you were going to do. So I live this thing, and if I made that choice to come here, everything is already set. I don't worry about where the money, it'll come. And if it doesn't, then my life will change. And if my life changes, something else will come. There's never a worry about, as long as
I'm listening. Papa, I get you, but at some point you got bro. No, for real, Papa. I can't. Look, hold on.
Really?
I feel you. And by the way, people, that's how Papa is. Papa always like that. But
I've lived in other countries because I'm like, oh, okay, I lost my house here. Okay, well, let's try this out.
So that's what I want to say. So, for example, when you were living in Greece, when you lived in Santorini, for example, like, and because I mean, hold on, let's actually put things in perspective here a little bit, if you don't mind. But like, yo, you toured the world, and you were not touring for $1,000. Let's just put it this way: you're charged. You're expensive DJ. You're one of the top tiers in the world. So it's like.
A little bit, not that much. There's others that yeah.
Okay, man.
That's all right. I do. Okay.
Come on, Papa. You humble, but please, like, at least let me do the pumping. But come on, for reals. Like, we know, like, yo, not everyone is with CAA or William Morris or whatever agency. Like, you've got to be some, like, so. At some point, you're not gonna tell me that, because yes, you live in the moment, but because that's also something that's very important to say. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't live in the moment, but. A lot of people, I think, especially artists, which is my problem with artists. And before I continue, Sister Kiara, thank you very much for the donation. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, indeedy. The fact of the matter is that so many artists have this tendency of well, that's not your case, but I would say some of the new generation, for example, it's like. It's supposed to be happening for me. It's supposed to be. So if it's not, there's this entitlement and there's this whole
generational thing, though. I think
fair enough. But what you're saying for somebody from this kind of generation will be like, Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So I feel like we're
No,
connecting
no,
here,
no,
but it's like,
no,
nah,
no.
we're not talking about the
For me,
same thing.
no, I think for me it's more on the spiritual thing in the sense of like,
Cool, yeah.
for example, I lived in New York. I went to Puerto Rico just for a trip. I decided to move there. Um, I lived there for 4 or 5 years. I was touring near the end of that. I was on tour, lost everything basically. Ceiling in my house fell down, studio flooded, records, the whole thing just underwater, right? I had a Frank Rogers and I had a tour that we had planned a week after that, like a year before, where my friend Christos, I think you met Christos.
Yeah, Christus, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, man, you guys have both been here playing Athens and Thessaloniki. You've never seen Greece. You've never been to the islands. So I'm just coming back. I'm coming to this thing after salvaging whatever I could from my house. I get to Greece. We get to the first island. I'm telling Christos a story. He's like, well, man, why don't you move to Greece? And before that tour was up, I was living in Greece within like a week. That kind of thing for me, it's just that thing, like the universe took one thing, he closed the door, but he left the window.
So right, let's put a blueprint in place here, because I think it's also very important spiritually for a lot of people to understand some of the things that you've put, some of the sequence you've put in place for you to actually work in tandem with the universe, which is a concept that a lot of people don't understand. So please unfold that for us.
For me, it's all about that, and so it's the things that the elements in the journey of your life. You know, if you're young and you're doing this, the best thing I can tell you is hone in on your craft, because that's the one thing that's going to always carry you through. You may be the hottest shit for now, but you're going to have a moment. And when you're not the hottest motherfucker, you're going to have to find a way to survive. There's always a place for a musician, a sound engineer, a mastering guy, a lighting guy, or whatever. So hone in on your craft. If you're thinking about being that dude and being famous and all that, that's great. You will learn that this is not what is shown up to be. So guard your soul, because you may lose it. That's real too.
I couldn't agree with that one.
Yeah. Don't think that there's no cost in this fame and in this whole thing. Luckily, I was able to get out of it really early before that happened, and it never happened for me, which is a blessing, you know. At 20,
you've always had a sense, though. That's the thing. You always knew how to unplug. Make people want you. Oh my God! And then
no. Yeah. So I don't know. I just, for me, you know, it's you know, I've had two, I would say, big losses in my life, which was Puerto Rico, where I lost everything, and then in Greece, literally everything was stolen from me out of a container. You know, so those instances in my life, I didn't look at them as negative. I looked at them like, wow, I have less on my back now. I can walk further. Less to carry. I have less things to think about. They're just things. You know, the only thing I have in this world is me. As long as I can get up and walk, there's nothing I worry about. You know, everything in our lives, we cater ourselves and put ourselves in these boxes of these things and things that we think we need to. Like, dude, I've learned as an older man, I'm such a guy now. Like, you could put me in a bush and I will survive. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not saying that I want that as an ideal situation, but I just think that it's important to know that you don't.
That's the point you've reached.
Yeah, you don't need all these things in the world to make you who you are.
But the Osunlade of when Osunlade was 37 years old, Osunlade, or 32 years old, Osunlade was thinking like that back then, or that came as a result of your experiences?
No, absolutely not. No. I mean, I think when I was young, just like these guys, the young guys now, like I said, when I lived in LA, it was totally about like, let me be that dude. I need to, but I was never the guy to. So everything for me has always been, anything in my life has to be on my terms. If it's not on my terms, I'm not doing it. And that is the one thing that's carried me through. I don't do anything I don't want to do. Nothing. Nothing is more important than me keeping the integrity of who I am and what I believe is the best move for me. And I don't give a shit about your feelings. I don't give a fuck if it hurts you. I don't care if I lose all the money in the world. You can't take that part of me. You can't change me. You can't make me do or feel any different than I am supposed to be.
But you've become that way, though.
I've always been that way.
You've always been that way. Okay.
Even with my parents, yeah, my parents gave up early because they couldn't understand. Like I was very, very much myself. I was very much like, no. Yeah, I think, and that's part of the beauty of my journey. My parents were always very much. My father had a very offhand upbringing for me. He used to tell my mom, just let him do his thing, and if he fucks up, that's when we'll intervene. But they didn't really, and because I had music at an early age, I really didn't have a childhood of, like, I wasn't that dude that was going out to play with kids and shit like that. I was normally in some class or, you know, in the basement or with my band when I got into teenage years. So I really didn't have that kind of childhood. So I didn't get into that much shit. I was, as a really early kid, I was a badass little kid. Like, he used to go around breaking windows and shit like that. But nothing, you know, like they never had to really worry about me because I was always in some musical thing or something. So they kind of left me be. But yeah, I was always very much an asshole.
But before we continue about the asshole that you were or you are, let's find out. We give a big shout out to Distant Shadow for the beautiful donation. Thank you very much, brother. We appreciate that. Lala Bug, you already know. God the soul indeed. Cat Fishes sing.
I think when I got here, I just knew that this is my journey. You know, even my parents, they can't live this for me. You know, it's amazing that, again, it's been great because I've had this time with my mom this year. You know, my mom's my best friend, closest person in the world. But
100%.
You know, our relationship is very much like, you are my friend first. You know what I mean? Just because you raised me, you know, we are two totally different people, and she understands. We give each other the utmost respect because, you know, she trusts me and knows like she did the right thing. And my journey to you know, she's always like, mom, she's always going to be there if I fuck up to get me out of it or help me. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's our journey, and you just have to make good decisions, or at least the best ones you can. And when you don't, you know, you just, that's the lesson that you hopefully don't repeat.
How do you apply that to love in relationships? And
I don't have love anymore. I'm 52 now, and I think at 52, it's just not important. I've never been a person that I've always known I was never going to get married. I was never going to be in a long relationship. I'm not a nice person in relationships because I either give
you're not a nice person in relationship.
I mean, I either give all of myself, and it's just overbearing. You know, I'm the kind of person, if I'm in a relationship, you'll never hear from me. My friends will never see me. That's my focus. And so it's not, it becomes a thing where I'm not myself. So it's never been really good for me in that sense. I like to love, I like to be in relationships, but at this age in my life, I could care less. It's really not that important. I've never wanted to be in a relationship, like a long-term relationship. You know, I think for me, I have so many friends, and a lot of my friends, I have intimate relationships where it's not sexual, or, you know, anything like that, intimate. And I think that for me, that's the ideal person. All of those people. That's my one relationship with everybody in my life that has a special place and a special energy that I need at a certain time. And that's how it works out for me.
Was that realization hard when you came to that conclusion?
No. I think just because of my personality, I'm an only child. I've always been by myself. I've never really needed. I can entertain myself. I'm pretty humorous when I want to be. So, yeah, no, I don't think it's ever been. It's never been really a thing for me.
But is it fair to say that some of your relationship have been pivotal in giving you fuel for inspiration in your music?
Oh man, every relationship gives me. Oh man, every album is about somebody. Absolutely. But that's the beauty of it. It's that thing, that vulnerability that you have when you're in a relationship that you don't give, you know. I think relationships are great in one aspect if you're smart. If you're smart, you'll understand the person that you became in the relationship to understand that part of you that you need to take out when you're not. Because it's usually always the bad shit that you show the person that you love the most.
It's interesting, isn't it? Does it always have to be that way, though?
I don't think it always does, and I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody, but I think that I find that there are more relationships of unhappy people than there are of happy people.
That's true.
I think people
But
are
even
just,
and would you, because they and now this comes into the conversation. So there is a tale, I would consider as a tale, because that says that um, uh, uh, opposite sex relationship tend to have this problem, whereas same sex relationship don't necessarily have this problem because they already know the downfalls of that counterpart that is from the same gender.
I don't
Is
think that's,
that something that you could maybe?
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's just the person. I mean, I listen again, and I don't mean to sound like some spiritual asshole, but I think that every person. No, honestly, this is how I think. Every person that comes into your sphere is a person that you're supposed to know, and they're
Yeah,
supposed
I
to
agree.
teach you something, and you're supposed to teach them something. You owe them something from some other life, and they owe you something from some other life. Whatever it is, you're supposed to get that something from that. Um, to share some type of love and to learn some type of love.
Hmm.
And that's the thing, if you know, when you get out of a relationship and you get to the next relationship, you love different because of what you
That's
learn from
true.
that thing. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I think in that respect, relationships are awesome, but for me, yeah, short term is best, bro. Yeah, it's
But
not.
is it show, is it best because it doesn't give you enough time to get attached and therefore could be more in control when it's
No,
time for
it's
you to just
because
switch?
I get bored and yeah, I get bored and yeah, my mind races on. I'm very much again. My mind is on a cycle of the now for now, but I know that in a year I won't feel anywhere near where I feel now, so I can't gauge what investing myself in something that could or could not be. Now, if I get in a relationship and I get married, then that's great. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not even saying that, I'm not welcoming that. I'm just saying that's just something that it's the least important thing in my life. The most important
No,
thing.
that I could understand, because obviously if you make it an important thing, then automatically there's a
Yeah.
lack of maybe balance or harmony in your life. But
Yeah.
so, for example, so let's say um, if
Then
I look at myself.
I have to say this.
Mhm,
I've also spent the last 15 years of myself on my life on the road.
that's
Nine
true.
9 years of every year, pretty much 9 months of every year.
Hmm.
So, and I'm not the kind of person that I don't meet people in bars and take them home or anything like that. That's not my MO.
Yeah, that's not your motto, yeah.
Yeah, I like to know you and shit. So I've not really had a lot of time. Like I said, this is the longest I've ever been in one place in my adult life right now. This COVID shit, the longest. So I'm always in different places and so it's never really been really that many opportunities. Of course, yes, I meet a lot of people. Of course, I'm interested in a lot of people, but long distance shit doesn't work. It's just so much trust shit with that and all that. It's just it's for me, I just rather not play that game, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I think it's just all those emotions and all those things that happen. It's just like this. Just it's for me at some point in my life, it just became wasted energy because I'm actually looking for someone else to give me what I should give myself first.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, but you were saying, sorry to cut you off.
No, no, no. Um, for example, if I look at myself, right, when it comes to relationship, the relationships that I've had, I didn't have that many as far as like long term relationship, but
Yeah,
they were all very important in my life. Interestingly enough, they all kind of look the same in some ways, but then were completely different in many other ways.
I think
But
that's
there's
everybody.
always,
Everybody has a look. I've learned that for sure.
but besides just the look, there was this. Oh well, the look of the relationship, but there was this thread of being made 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 the interactions leading me to start feeling less,
Right.
or because of this tendency of giving so much, of being so much of a giver,
Yeah.
and being so much of service to the other, and trying to elevate the other at the expense of your own
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. That's
balance.
I'm not good at that.
But so you see, I realized that okay, I needed to balance that. And for example, I went through a whole phase of fuckery. I was
Yeah,
like, fuck all this shit. I'm
yeah,
about to go and have fun and let everybody know that I'm about to get involved. It's like, yo, this is what it's gonna be.
right,
Don't expect anything more. Don't
right,
expect anything less. There's always
right.
gonna be respect first and foremost. But
Yeah,
as far as risk is concerned, no. And I came as a result of all that. It was, it was fun, whatever, whatever. But then um, this whole COVID hit me, and even a little bit before that, there was starting to be some awakening coming spiritually, and it really was interesting how this epiphany came to me. For example, where it was like spiritually, like the Richards, and specifically my father, as a matter of fact, came to me and said, "Yo, son, can't continue doing this
yeah,
because whatever fun you were having, yeah, there was a time to have fun and there's a time to stop
yeah.
because this is not fun anymore because now you're becoming what you say you're not. You're actually using these people's energy, and you're not actually really being genuine."
Sorry, I'm getting a call, but go ahead. I'll make it up.
No, 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 no worries. And so that is interesting because what you're saying is actually, I mean, I would understand a lot of people would see what you just said as something negative, as in like, damn, yo, or should I, he's lost all hope for love, and
No, no, no,
well,
not
what is that? No,
no,
but I mean, that's what people would think, and at the same time, I resonate with what you're saying in a way because I'm like, I can dig it, but yet at the same time, I feel like for the first time in my actual adult life, I came to the conclusion that I'm done with the fun and all that. I was done already for a while, but
yeah,
like I'm for real, for real, for real. Like
yeah,
no need for that shit. I
yeah,
am looking to, just focus on me,
yeah,
and which I have done, and then really meet somebody with whom I can actually build a
yeah,
foundation and
yeah,
actually go towards something really greater than myself.
yeah.
Whereas before it was just more like, whatever, whatever comes, comes. But
Yeah,
so basically, I shifted my purpose because even spiritually, I was actually told that this was not my. I was actually desecrating my gift
yeah, yeah,
by
absolutely.
giving myself like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your chi is everything, man. And that's the thing. It's at some point I had to ask myself, is this person worth you? And a lot of times the answer was no. So
Yeah,
yeah, and it's cool. I mean, yeah, I don't
but
miss it.
it, but then when it comes to being worthy, right? This is the thing, and a lot of people look at this as when somebody says, "Well, you're not worthy of me energetically," or we're not on the same frequency. There's a sense of frustration, and one being like, you think of yourself more than you are.
No, not at all. I don't think that that's a thing at all. I think that most of the people that, at least for me, that I've encountered and what I'm attracted to are the challenges of what's in myself.
Mhm.
The opposite of the thing that I'm challenging of myself. And at the end, I just don't want to take someone through what I don't want to go through, and I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good with me. I just think that I have such an array of beautiful people in my life that I don't have to diminish that to a life with one person. You know,
True, I
I
can
may,
dig
I
that.
may be too fucking much for somebody. I don't know. I just can't worry about that. I mean, everyone that I have in my family, in my friends and families, it's such a deeper love because there's no sexual tension. There's no thing of I own you or you're mine or it's so much
But
different.
isn't that because of the? By the way, before we continue, Sister Swaby is in the building. Sandra Swaby in the building. We salute you, sister.
Maybe
Um, Isn't it a question, Papa? Isn't it a question there of ego then? Because this thing of which
it
is
could
very connected with sex is like I own you. It's like you're mine.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I can't really speak on that because I don't have that. I think that there's definitely a battle between you got two people. There's always a compliance thing that you have to deal with, and the question is, are you a good compliancer? I'm not. I don't comply very well. I'm not good with it. I don't play fair. I don't play the game. So yeah, again, I don't want to say I've had some great relationships. I don't say that any of them were bad. I just think that they're just not for me. It's just as
Mhm.
simple as that. It's just not for me. I don't need them. You know, I don't miss anything in my life. I think the best relationship I've ever had is with this dog I have now.
Beautiful.
You know, I mean, like literally,
It's
someone.
funny because I also have a dog, and it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
That dog came
It's
to my life in a very interesting way as well.
bro,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
feel that.
best relationship I've ever had. Like unconditional love. You know, loves you more than himself, and yeah, and it's actually, you know, you take care of them like you take care of you, as opposed to expecting
Mhm.
somebody to do that. You
Hmm.
know?
So now, when it comes to loving self and this and that, and being with, we understand that
Yeah.
you've reached the level, and I love the fact that you made it about your age, but I don't think it's about your age. I think it's just your own spiritual achievements, I would say, or conclusions, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, look, look. Every Orisha and ancestor that governs my life absolutely saves me every day, man. I know I'm blessed, you know, in every way, as far as my health and just everything. I've totally had the best life that I could ever remember.
I can dig that. And when it comes to talking about your reach as an influence of the spiritual life
Mm,
into your in your everyday process of existing.
yeah,
Um,
it could be anything, man. I could see something, or I can hear something, or something will happen, and I'll know which Orisha is giving me that message, or what I'm supposed to get from it. You know, in accordance to what's going on in my life. It's just like that. You just know. It's just, you know, it's a dream or anything. Yeah, I mean, you know, like when I met you, I could come up, meet up somebody, a rental place, and I'll be like, oh, you got five kids. No, I got four. You having a daughter, you know, something like that. It'll just, it's just, that's the connection, you know. And that's the thing,
exactly.
we all have that power, but you have to get in tune with yourself and in tune with nature and understanding that. And but we all have that ability, man. We are forceful fucking machines. Us humans, we came here with a lot of power, and you know, with this, the way the society has grown, it's all designed to kill that. You know, everything is designed to radiate your body and to keep you, you know, your pituitary glands, you know, clogged up so you can't get to that third eye. And you know, the frequencies. You know, the thing about the frequencies, all of our music is in 440. You try to put something. Have you ever tried to put something in a different frequency than 440?
I never did actually.
Try it. Nothing will play it
Crazy.
because the Rockefellers in the 40s decided that 440 is the standard hertz, because 440 is not a hertz that can enlighten you. It's an actual negative hertz. 430, 437, 441. Any other hertz right around that is a better enlightened hertz, just like the keys in the music. C makes you happy, E makes you sad. The same kind of thing with frequencies. But those are things that are in our world that are set by someone else. Now, people may say conspiracy.
No, no,
Why?
no, no. Well,
I'm just saying, but
fuck all that. But I want dig
that
on
is,
that, please.
yeah, that is fact. You can look it up. Why is all the music? I've tried to put something, when you bounce something down out of your studio, your next project, try to bounce it at 52, or try to bounce it at something higher than than what you normally bounce it. Watch, put it in anything, it'll not play.
That's crazy.
Yes, yeah, it's crazy. But you know, you can go on YouTube. There's lots of pages on YouTube with frequency healings. You can put in any kind of healing for your stomach, healing for your. Just put in
Hmm.
such frequency HZ, and you can get it. So there's again, the information is out there. You just got to know what you're looking for, and yeah, and read through shit. It's a lot of information out there about what's really happening in the world. This world that we
So
have
that's the
been
thing. You
fooled
just
to
said
believe
read
it.
through shit, but how do you like I actually try to make it easy for people, but at the end of the day, we're here to share knowledge. So like instead of having people read through shit, which might be majority of the time a lot of dumb shit, what is one of the avenues one could be advised? Like for example, I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza, for example, the whole quantum flow, that whole approach to like healing and like I love that aspect as well. But then also I'm a bit I'm trying to be a follower of Dr. CB, the late Dr. CB, but
Dr. CB, there's a few people. What I'll do is I'm gonna make a list, and I'll make a folder of videos for your people to download.
Fantastic.
It's just of information. They can take with it what they want.
Oh, fantastic. That would be beautiful.
Most of these
And if you
things-
make it for Friday, I can have it
I'll make it
available.
tonight. I'll make it tonight.
Cool. Then we'll make it available, and you'll have to
About
please
everything. It's about everything about COVID, the pandemic, the vaccine, weather control. Most of it's about the American government and what they do, because I just follow a lot of the real shit. And again, most of these videos, you'll see there will be links that you can follow. You can proof check it yourself. You can look, you can believe, you cannot. But yeah, I'm just trying to help everybody realize that we have the power as a people to information out there to get together. We are so, there's, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm gonna say now there's a big march that is happening May 15th worldwide, a global march for everybody to get out so that we make a stand that we're not cool with what's happening with these lockdowns, however you feel about COVID, but basically how to make a stand about the current situation, that we get our lives back together and that we shouldn't be controlled like this. So there's a big global march. I'll put that video up as well into the folder. Dropbox good for you?
Dropbox is perfect. And I think we should actually ask the people to, in exchange for that information, to at least, because that's work, that's your time.
Yeah, no, it's
show some love, add donations to Papa.
If I say one person's, or at least give a person a thought to question more things.
It's their liberty to do it, but I always say, like, we don't have to do what we're doing, and the things that we're privy.
You know what's funny? I was starting a show tomorrow on my Twitch called The Rabbit Hole, which I was going to do exactly that. Just put this stuff up. See, 512 God frequency. Why isn't our music at 512? Because they don't want you to have the God frequency. Yeah. So anyway, I'll do that. I was gonna put that together for my show tomorrow anyway. So I'll hand it.
Yeah, that would be dope, and then I can link it up. Before you bounce, Papa, can you tell us about the NFT thing? Because you're an amazing photographer.
NFT thing. I'll tell you my thing. I was so bombarded by so many of my friends. You got to make your stuff on NFT. I'm like, listen, man. Yeah. That's the worst idea for my music, specifically. Only speaking for my.
I'm not talking about the music. I'm talking about the arts now.
The art. I've talked to some guys that I'm really, really big into the art thing, and they helped me out with some of my stuff. And here's what they told me, and this is what coming from their mouth. For one, I don't like the format, because I think it's making the world more ridiculous than it is, for things to go for so much fucking money for something so stupid you own. I think that's just inflating the
ego.
It's inflating everyone's ego, but it's inflating the perception of our lives. Like, you can be rich with this one fucking click of dime. You can, this whole thing about the problem with the world now is that everyone's trying to get fucking rich and everyone's trying to be famous. Why? Why? I don't get it. Why do you want to be famous? That's the worst fucking life in the world. To have motherfuckers in your face all day, to have a schedule that you can't keep up, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you got to be on fucking drugs all the time to stay up, to keep this shit, and half of the shit you don't want to do, but you have to do it because you wanted to be famous. No. I don't get that. Anyway, what was the question again? Don't get me started, man.
No, but that's what we're here for. But anyway, the point of the question is you don't want to get too deep in that. What is your stance on NFT? Because I really think that
my friends told me, that, and these are guys that are in like the art world. They were like, it's a way that the rich are spending their cryptocurrency to avoid taxes. Like that Beeple thing, that 500 million for that Beeple thing, that was a whole tax thing, because they're starting to tax cryptocurrency now.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, expect it. Yeah, you can expect that.
And all the banks and the federal government, they're all starting their own cryptocurrencies because they know it's not happening. So it's going to be a shit show soon with all that as well. But the NFTs, I'm not really into it. I wasn't for the albums. I'm so against it because I don't think that there's a point for doing music if you're going to give it to a few people exclusively. Like, what's the fucking point of that? I want to share my music with as many people as possible.
But isn't that the case with the NFT and this whole marketplace, like OpenSea and all that?
The whole NFT thing, the point of it was you're an exclusive owner of that thing.
Yeah, but I mean, but people can also own that thing and actually they make money off of it, and you make money off of them making money.
I'd rather somebody spend 20 or 30 bucks for my record and have it in their hands, not some fucking digital shit that.
I get it. I don't want to convince you, but I'm just saying, for example,
No.
all the body of work, the photography, the photographs, all these amazing things that you've done, which are there.
I'm staying analog, man. I'm staying analog.
That's what it is.
I'd rather have them on canvases and in somebody's house. And when they blow up the world, they can make that the fucking Michael the 16 Chapel. I don't know. You can't do that when the power's out. What are you gonna own?
That's true. You're right. I get it.
Oh my God, listen, when they blow this world up or whatever they're gonna do with it, and just imagine the Earth's gone, right? Mm-hmm. And it's starting to regenerate. And they get all the rubble, and they find a Boddhi Satva album. That could be the Bible.
Never know.
You never know.
But they could find that Sokinzi Carter joint, that whole beautiful, beautiful, beautiful body of work that you've done, man. Papa, thank you very much for being on the show, man. I know you got things to do.
And listening. It's been great. Thanks for all the donations.
Definitely.
Check out Yoruba Soul TV. Check it out. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Please check it out. Also, make sure you go on Bandcamp and check out Yoruba Records. Yoruba. Yoruba Records. Yeah, Yoruba. Please, Papa, I'll let you go, man.
I gotta go walk this boy. He hates me right now.
Yeah. It was a blessing. Papa, thank you so much, yo. All right. Peace. Family, well, this is it, man. We had the honor to spend a beautiful time and a conversation with the one and only Papa Osunlade, and I can't begin to say how grateful I am and honored I am to have had the chance to chop it up with this legend, and we could go on and on for hours. It was already a privilege to be able to have him spend a little bit of time with us here. And so I thank you all for the beautiful donations. Thank you. I mean, wow, man. Papa K, Auntie, Lala Bug, Kiara, Distant Shadow 4, everyone else who was donated, thank you so very much. Beautiful. For those of you watching here on YouTube or on my Facebook, thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you draw some inspiration, some positive energy out of this beautiful conversation that we just had. And if you haven't done it just yet, please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you also show some love to Papa Osunlade. Go on his Twitch, go on his YouTube, Yoruba Records. Also on Bandcamp, get the music, support your artists, just like you did tonight with us via the donations. Do not hesitate. It's very important. It means a lot. And it keeps us motivated to give you guys continued quality content. In the meantime, I will wish you all a beautiful rest of your evening, night, day, whatever you are doing, wherever you are located in the world. Mark your calendars. This Friday coming, I will be doing another edition of Quarantine Grooves, your Friday rendezvous of nothing but just quality joints. 2 hours of music with yours truly, Boddhi Satva. This was Monday Quality Talks number 24 with Papa Osunlade. Hopefully we get him back. And what is Master Charlie said? Great talk, Mr. Boddhi. Make it 7 hours show. Look, Keisha, by the way, actually, let's actually congratulate our good brother Keisha, who has had a great guest yesterday, who Natria Ben, I believe. She and Keisha had a conversation of 9 hours on his YouTube channel. That's about 6,000 people who watched. That's an all-time record for his channel. So big shout out to you, Papa K, and hats off to you for holding the floor down that long. It's a freaking marathon for reals. And hopefully we will be able to do something equal to that one way or the other at some point. But we would have to indeed see how that could work out. I'm definitely going to bring some people in this chat for another conversation. By the way, for those of you who haven't checked it out yet on this YouTube channel for the Monday Quality Talks on Mondays, I've had a beautiful, beautiful 3 hours conversation with Sister Kiara, who's been in the chat today as well. Check it out. We spoke on so many different topics, kind of similar to what we spoke about with Osunlade, but from different angles and perspectives. So make sure you go check it out. Thank you very much, Lala Berg. I appreciate you. Sister Swebi, you already know. And everyone else logged in, Bree, Emmanuel, the whole gang, Philippe, thank you very much for tuning in. That's right. I'm sure DigiChemic was doing it right for that WRLB show. And yeah, enough of the talking. Nancy Gavor, thank you very much for tuning in, sis, and God bless you all. I shall see you this Friday for Quarantine Grooves, but next Monday for another edition of Monday Quality Talks. And next Monday, I am inviting somebody who's actually a member of my family. I have never had any members of my family in the public space at any point in time on that level. But I will let you know all about it when it's time and needed. That will be next week, Monday. We will be talking business. We will be talking about the marketplace in Africa and life, my childhood, and how much of a bully he was with me when I was a kid, but how much also that helped me toughen up and carve my own way. With that being said, have a blessed week, family, and please rewatch again this live, which was a pure gem, at least for me. Thank you all, yo. Blessings, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and the like buttons. Press some likes. We need that. We need that. All right. Blessings, 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 blessings.